What's up? Welcome to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to bring to you the #1 building tip in the game. It's not my opinion. It is a fact. This is something that cannot be disputed. And I don't care how big the YouTuber is or who they are, this one little thing cannot be disputed. So whatever you have previously watched and thought, this is it right here. Now, you may be saying, man, you're only a power level 127. That is because over the years, I have focused on one build, which brought my DPS to my typewriter because it's my favorite weapon in the game. I was at like 400,000 DPS on that build alone. And quite recently, I have switched my build. So this is my squad now, and this is why, because I'm purple. I don't have it where I want it, so it brought me down. But all my 130s that were previously there, and a lot of things just aren't there because I've recycled them and put them elsewhere. I'm actually a power level 134, about to be a power level 135, and I took like a year and a half off from Fortnite. Second, I do have 2,281 missions completed. So I do know what I'm talking about with this one thing right here. Alright? And we're going to hop right to it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take in the Plankerton and I'm going to explain it. And then I'm going to bring it down into Twine and show you what it would exactly look like. So we're going to get right to this. We're going to hop in it and we're going to launch it. Oh, before I do that, I had somebody in the stream earlier today send me a DM on Discord and said, hey, how come I don't have those blue bars filled up, even though they completed their endurance? So, it's not a glitch, it's not glitched out, it's nothing like that. And he thought it was, and that's not how it works. So those blue bars that are below the endurance max wave, 30 for 30, that means you have completed that max wave in your own world. If you've been carried, it's going to show default. You still get all of the rewards from completing that endurance run in your quest. So you will still have those rewards. I don't know where they used to be. I've already done them. So somewheres they're in there, and you're still going to get the emblem. You're going to get the legendary troll stash. You're going to get all of that. So now, the blue bars mean that you've reached that max wave. Or if you died on 17, it would say your max endurance wave would be like 16. Because you didn't complete 17, you actually died. So your max wave would be 16, and that would be filled in. Blue across until you hit your max wave 30. So that's why that is like that. Now, for the #1 tip in the game, for the building tip, there are two things I cannot tell you. Alright, one is I do not know how many builds there are per region, per Stonewood, per Plankerton, per Canny, and Twine. I don't know that. But there is a build limit. What that limit is, that's an awful lot of counting. I don't know if there's a YouTube, I don't know if there's a Reddit that says exactly the build. How many building pieces you can drop, I don't know. But what I'm going to show you and tell you and teach you is something we used to do when Save the World was out. Now, it worked differently back then, but the same concept has always been there. You could always do it. Like, we didn't really have endurance. We had like a little zombie mode that we would have to fight, and we could only build in this little bubble area, and that's where we had to do it.
You know the drill.
That type of endurance.
We're ready to expand again. When you're ready to start the fight, select Expand Shield from the Storm Shield console.
This is your build, and we've been doing this for a long time, right? You build. That's your build. Those are your builds. And I'm going to say it again. This is your build. When you place a trap on there, you're not supposed to, because that counts as a build. You're supposed to reach your building limit first. Then you place down your traps. Because if you place down a trap on your build, it just wasted a building slot. So the trick to building your endurance, and a lot of the YouTubers are not telling you this. I don't know why they're not. It's probably because they have got you on this far-fetched mission to go get all these weird traps and, you know, build their block-offs, right? And, you know, to build a block-off, that costs a lot of mats, okay? So when they say, oh yeah, you need 10,000 steel, right? So this is your build. You place it down, that's 10. To upgrade it, it's going to cost 20. And then to upgrade it to the third level, it's going to cost 30. So that's 60 materials right there alone. And you can only drop 500 builds per stack of 5,000. So take 500 and times that by 60. That's 30,000 mats you're going to need to upgrade that first stack of 500. All right, I'm pretty sure the math was right. 500. Yeah, 30,000. All right. So here's everything. It's built. Everything here is built, right? And what the YouTubers are teaching you, and I wish I would have did this in 2018. I don't know why I didn't. Everybody would know this today, and they wouldn't be doing that crazy stuff that you see now in the videos. You would build first, and you're wondering, well, how would you know this? Okay, that is because we would fight some and then lose, and then we would destroy everything and then build accordingly. But we had a lot of things built that we knew where they were spawning from, just from the storm shield defenses. And then when you start the endurance, a couple things popped off. So we had to learn and progress slowly. And then finally, once we knew all the tidbits, we built accordingly. Now, you have to build everything perfectly. Because once you build everything perfectly, all right, once you start placing down traps, there is no such thing as like, oh, I messed up, and say you're on B when you messed up. There's no knocking down the wall on B and trying to repair it. It's over. Because now you're above the build limit. And I'm going to show you what that looks like when I take you in the twine. Now you're wondering, what is this out here? I have everything built in Plankerton. Okay? Every amplifier is built without traps. This right here is 16,000 mats. Okay? So it equals out to 1,600 builds that I could keep on putting on my amplifiers. Okay? This is 3 stories over here. 1, 2, and 1 down below. It all equals another 1,600 builds because we have no traps. So if we were to place down 1,600 traps, which this is not going to total 1,600 traps in any way, shape, or form. We're not placing down 1,600 traps to do this. Endurance. But your build limit is you place the build and do not place the trap. A lot of YouTubers are telling you to build and block off and place the traps. You do not do that because you're reaching the build limit faster than you should be. Faster than you should be. And everybody's having a problem with their storm shield because they're listening to some guy who's got 350,000 subs and 1 million views. There was a time when they're like, oh my god, the meta is the broadside, and everybody's using the broadsides. Bunch of garbage. I have a video coming up explaining to you the best traps in the game and how to use them. And it is not using their broadsides. It's not the best trap in the game. It's like one of the trashiest traps in the game. Alright? You use them for something else. But this is how you do it. You build first. Okay? You build first. You reach the build limit and then place your traps. If you're new to the endurance and you don't know where they're spawning from, there are hundreds of YouTube videos out there of people showing where they're spawning from. So look at their video and be like, oh, they're spawning, and then build accordingly. Nobody has to build this Plankerton or Stonewood or Canny or the Twine Endurance exactly how a YouTuber tells you how to do it. You do not have to do it like that. There's no such thing as following the YouTuber and like, oh, you gotta build it like this. No, you don't. You don't do this. If you know where they're spawning from, you just blast it. That's all there is to it. You just blast it. You just build it. I know they're spawning out here. Now they've got to make it from here all the way to A. And you're like, where's your block offs? You don't need none. That's because they're not telling you how to really do it, because they need their views. That's how they're making it. They need you to watch their videos. And you're like, well, so don't you. I don't want to be a big YouTuber. If I ever get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. But I'm not here to lie to you to keep you watching videos and grinding a game that's already grinding, right? So let's go over to Twine, and I'm going to show you how this works. You must build properly. You must know, build, and do not make a mistake. Don't forget something. It's okay if you do if it's a little thing. But if it's something major, you can't fix it. Because once you place the traps, there's no placing it, because now you are above and beyond that build limit. By the hundreds. Not by 1 or 2 or 50. You are over it by the hundreds. Because you're going to end up placing hundreds of traps. When you go watch the bigger YouTubers explain their videos, they're placing a total of hundreds of traps around all of their things. The difference is that if you do it like this, you're going to be over it by a couple hundred more. And you're not going to lose your Storm Shield defense in any way, shape, or form. It will be impossible. And we're in 2023, okay? It's not 2018, 2019, where you had to farm for everything, right? There are so many people in 2023 that have traps. It's unbelievable. So you can just make a post on Xbox and be like, hey, can I get some traps? And somebody will come in and get just like, here's 2K traps, dude. So if you're worried about traps, you have no reason to be worried about traps. I know kids that go join Twine when they first get into Twine. They're like, man, I need traps. And it's like, okay, here's some traps. And I stream, right? The people who don't stream, they still get traps. I get traps all the time. It helps, yes, but I still had traps. I did a lot of farming. I played with a lot of people. I know people who have more missions than me completed because I actually took a break. But getting traps is not an issue. It's just use what Fortnite has given you to beat the game itself. And it's not watching some guy tell you you gotta use 10,000 metal for a block off. As you see here, there is no block off. I have the video of this being beat, and this is how you do it. Right? You build everything and then place your traps. You know the drill. Now,
we're ready to expand again. When you're ready to start the fight, select Expand Shield from the Storm Shield console.
Because the building is actually the building you're replacing. The traps go on after you reach the build limit. And that's been that way for as long as I can remember. It's never not been different. It's always been like this. We've never had issues beating any of our endurances. None. We have sat here and twined the most and experimented with different things, trying to get rid of builds. Like, D. So we've been experimenting on D for a long time. Like this is the one amplifier we played rock, scissors, paper over, and this was the amplifier that I landed on. So this is the one that we have been experimenting the most on. This does not really have a lot of anything going on. But the problem with D here is that Smashers smash and epic mini bosses smash. That is an explanation I'm going to give in another video to explain how all of the husks work. So this one here just gives us the biggest problem for certain reasons that I cannot get into in this video, because this video here is specifically about the #1 build in the game, the building tip. There is no way that I have built this and placed traps as I've been building it. It's impossible to happen, okay? You have to build first, then place your traps. Always been like this. You always build first, and then place your traps. Okay? This is not a glitch. This is not... and when the anti-airs came out, we just plastered them all over the place, because you can just keep spamming traps, right? I cannot build, okay? I cannot build. I'm not allowed to build. There's no more building room. There's none. But what I can do... So we'll come right out here, and I'll just do it to show you. Put on my see? You can still place your traps. That is the building limit. Okay? You build first and then place traps. You cannot listen to a guy that says, oh yeah, we're only going to use 30 traps. Something's going to go wrong. It's an endurance. And if it goes wrong, look at this. Nothing's going wrong. It's impossible for it to go wrong. We didn't use 15,000 mats on a block and then just use 30 traps. It's not how you do it. It's kind of shady that they're teaching that, when that's not the case. If I would have had the equipment that I have today, I would have had this video posted in 2018, when the first thing I heard. Okay, I don't even want to get into that, but this is what you do. This is the #1 tip in the game, and you do it. You build first, and then you place your traps. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't debate it. You can't argue it. It's the #1 tip in the game. And it's 2023. It's not 2018. Everybody in the game has traps. You can make a post. You can get traps. Before, there were 40 of us who were playing this game every day, farming as a unit. So getting traps was very easy for us, because we had a team of 40 people going at it. And then eventually, they just kind of moved on. Everybody moved on, and there's some of us still playing it today as a unit. It's not hard. If you've only got 1 or 2 guys and you're playing with, yeah, it's going to be a little hard. But 2017, 2018, we had people moving as a unit, and it was easy to get things done. And then it was really hard, because these bases didn't reset. You had to sit there and manually whack it and repair it. There was just so many things that made it harder back then that we were like, we need a team. So we put a whole team, and there was just 40 of us playing all the time, really doing it. And I was streaming then. We had a lot of help from the people that we've met. I just came back to streaming this game, and the amount of people who's already helped me do some other stuff is absolutely insane. So it's very easy to get traps. It's not hard, okay? But the number one tip for building is you build first and then place your traps down. Imagine me already building and then placing my traps down in Plankerton. I never would have had that 1,600 extra building slots. Maybe I would have had 500. I don't know. Alright? But this is how you do it. You build and then place your traps. It's the number one tip. And there's no denying it. Okay? This twine proves it. My stonewood will prove it. My canny will prove it. My canny has a... It is built and it's got a NASCAR Daytona 500 racetrack that veers off into some Formula 1 racing. So, you can do some pretty crazy stuff within the build limit if you build the limit. We built the limit and then we place the traps. Twine requires a build limit. Twine is tough. Okay, the more people you have in your game, the tougher it kind of gets. If you're playing it on solo, it's a little bit easier. But the more people, and I play with full people all the time, so it gets a little crazy. There's a lot of things I'm not going to explain in this video that you're looking at, like, oh, why is he doing that? Because this isn't the video for it. You'll have to watch them in the future. But this is how you do it. I hope you guys appreciate the information that I'm giving you today. I'm sorry it's late, but a lot of things have been brought to my attention while I've been streaming about certain things that shouldn't be taking place within YouTube that I disagree with. And this is how you build. I'm leaving a Discord link in the description below. I'd appreciate it if you would join. I'm trying to grow, and please hit that follow button. I am trying to grow. Alright, stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.